All right, welcome back. So I did not plan on going live today before work like I usually do, but shout out to Muchi left a comment that inspired me to talk about this. Also, shout out to Dog Culture Review and the people who like these videos. You know, usually when I go live or in most of my videos, I would say about 1/5 of the people listening like the video. So I imagine you tune in for entertainment purposes. But with all due respect, I am not a saxophone player. It does not hurt any of you to like the video. It makes the video more likely to be heard by people who haven't heard it yet. Also, I don't think it's that difficult to share videos like this on the actual Twitter timeline and other social media platforms with the entities I'm talking about. For example, this video. Share this video with Child Protective Services. Just go to Twitter and leave a link to the video on their timeline or something like that. Again, the message is worthless if it's not getting out there. Human Services Department. What is CHILD Protective Services? And I might have to take that word out of the headline a little later. Well, I'm going to go directly to their website, let them explain what they do and what they are. They say that they provide protection for youngsters who are at risk of or are experiencing neglect, physical, sexual, or emotional abuse. The focus is on the safety of the youngsters and support for parents to strengthen families and promote safe, nurturing homes for youngsters. Okay, let's stop right there. Already, that cancels dogs out. If a dog is in the home, that's not a safe home. That is the most well-established fact out there. There is no other dangerous entity that harms youngsters more than dogs. There is none. The most common injury that young people experience is falls. But of course, that's not a separate entity. That's the youngsters themselves making a mistake. You can't stop injuries like that. Child Protective Services are supposed to be there to prevent outside threats. So there's no way on earth you can consider a home safe if there are dogs inside of it. You out of your mind? But let's continue. They say the Child Protective Services screen and investigate reports of abuse, neglect, or harm. Yeah, look, so obviously these people will go into people's homes and see killers and say, I see nothing wrong with this home. No threat found. Really? You're incompetent. You are all incompetent. The only thing that deserves attention is whatever causes injuries. But y'all's emotions are tied up in dogs. So they'll look at dogs, killers, and won't think nothing of it. Because they themselves, most likely, dog owners as well as parents themselves as well. They assess safety and risk. No, you don't. That's not what y'all doing. Can you imagine people claiming to assess safety and risk? They come inside, see some German shepherds or pit bulls and say, oh, this home is safe. Do you know how incompetent you are at that moment? No other entity on earth inflicts the type of damage that dogs do. None, whether the victim lives or dies. And y'all put a stamp of approval on dogs. That means Child Protective Services is a joke. You're a joke. Provides families with referrals, provides supportive services. Yeah, right. This is all a joke. Now, if you were to try to find out exactly why dogs attack youngsters, you would understand even more clearly that dogs are an extreme threat. Because y'all won't do your own investigation. We're going to do it here. Why do dogs attack youngsters? If any of you tried to look this up, you should be shocked at what you find. Now, in today's world, they always put at the top some AI overview. So I'm going to deal with what they put in your face right away when you do a search like this. Right away, they say, and again, look at the question I asked. Why dogs attack young people? And they say dogs can attack for a variety of reasons, including fear, territorial behavior, and instinct. Now, first of all, notice how they only select a few so-called reasons why dogs attack, and they leave out the others that actually incriminate dogs and prove that they're guilty and have no place inside of a home. You don't have to work hard to prove that dogs are a threat to young people. But this is the reasons they give. Fear. Now, we all know they're not afraid of young people. Just had a 3-year-old who was killed a few days ago. Attacked about a week ago now. Died a few days later. These dogs are not afraid of youngsters. And understand, too, many of these dogs leave their own territory. The most common attack on young people, the dog leaves the territory. If it's not a family dog, it leaves its territory. This most recent killing involved the dog that lived next door. Youngsters in the backyard playing, the dog bypassed the fence, launched an attack. That's not fear. Fear never comes into play. That's never a part of why they attack youngsters. Understand, they selected fear out of many other options as to why they attack young people. Why would you select fear as one of the reasons why they attack young people? You only do that if you're trying to be deceptive and be a liar, because I don't believe any of you are just that dumb. Anxious dogs may lash out when they feel uncomfortable. Stop it. They lash out when they see an easy target. And they attack because they get off on attacking. They're bloodthirsty mutants that simply enjoy killing. That's why they don't eat any of the victims. When it's livestock, and notice, when they attack livestock, they have plenty of time to eat. They could completely devour at least one sheep because it usually happens overnight. But when the farmer wakes up, all the animals still intact, even though they're dead, because all the dogs did was kill them. These are not natural predators. Territorial behavior. Now, we all went through this several times. Dogs don't have no territory. They have no territory. And usually these attacks happen, the dogs leave their territory. Now, when I say their territory, I'm talking about the immediate space around them, their personal circle. That's the only thing you can consider a dog's territory. But again, they have no territory like that inside of a home. And if you insist that they have a territory inside the home, which is a personal space around it, then that dog should be deemed dangerous by Child Protective Services. You insane? Look at this. Dogs may bite children they don't know? Really? No. When dogs attack children they don't know, they almost always leave their territory to do it. These dogs are not unfamiliar with children that live inside the home with it. When they attack children they don't know, they almost always leave their territory to do it. That is not territory aggression. That's predatory aggression. And the thing is, you can't even technically call them predators because they don't eat the victims. They're not attacking because they're hungry. Dogs may, when they don't, children they don't know if they feel like their territory is being invaded. Or youngsters, they know if they feel like their food is being threatened. So when dogs attack youngsters that they know, that they live with, you're telling me they do it because their food is threatened? How'd y'all discover that? Show me how you found that out. I never ran across this information. Notice how they just make random guesses. What did I tell y'all? All they do is try to be creative. When they obtain a degree or whatever, they think that's a green light for them to make stuff up and get creative. They don't base anything off real research. If you ask me, I think they're too dumb to do real research. And I'm talking about all of them. You're too dumb to do real research. They attack children they know if they feel like their food is being threatened. No youngsters trying to take no dog food from no dog. Lord, these people. They have instinct. They also listed instinct. Now, when you see that, you start to think, okay, maybe they're about to tell the truth here. But no, they don't. They say dogs might bite children if the child startles or hurt the dog during play. Or if the children take toys and food from the dog. So in each scenario where they're saying that dogs bite based on instinct, they're saying that the youngsters are doing something to it. So they didn't even list the real instinctive motivator. Yeah, they attack on instinct because they just want to kill. They love to attack weak targets. And quite often, they look at the child inside the home that they live with as competition. Also, it's in a dog's nature to have a pack mentality. This is another reason Child Protective Services is a joke. Dogs have a pack mentality. And in dog packs, they establish rank by fighting other dogs. So if they view your family the same way they view their own pack, they're going to fight the people in your family. and they're going to go after the weakest target. Do you understand that? That is exactly why youngsters 17 and under make up almost 60% of all attack victims. Young people age 17 and under make up nearly 60% of all attack victims. Now, tell me, what excuse does Child Protective Services have? Huh? Let's look up some more information, some more facts on these mutants. Again, go to Google, type in statistics, dog attack children statistics. This is what you see at the very top. They say, here are some statistics about dog attacks on children. You see this right here? In 2022, children age 1 to 4 were the victims of 30% of all attack fatalities. 30%. There's some 5 million reported attacks a year, but we really know it's closer to 10 million reported. They simply haven't updated dog attack statistics yet. They haven't done that in decades. It's been 4.5 million for over a decade, and we know today it's double, at least double what it was back in the 2010s. That's just age 1 to 4. 30% age 1 to 4. So what in the world do you think ages 5 to 16, what do you think they make up for as dog attacks? It's ridiculous. Some 30%. And they also point out that pit bulls are responsible for more deaths than any other breed. Yet the pit bull advocates are still out here being supported by society. Also, notice how they always bring these pit bull advocates onto the news to help get them more popular. They get full support from society, even though facts like these are out here. Fatal dog attacks often result from bites to the, you see that? To the head or neck. The most recent attack victim, I talked about this with the members. If you listen to that, you'll find out that the 3-year-old, I think his name was Koval Allen. He had a broken jaw. He had all kinds of injuries. All of the injuries were to the shoulders up. The dog that killed him, it only mauled that 3-year-old from the shoulders up. Decimated his face of a 3-year-old. Tortured him. And Child Protective Services goes inside of homes, looks at those creatures and say, oh, this is a safe home? You're a joke. Number of bites in the U.S. Look how old this information is. They say more than 2 million children are bitten by dogs each. It's way more than that now. It's more like 4 or 5 million. What are you talking about? It is not 2 million. They're scared to update the statistics. Have y'all noticed that? Because they know right now today, they're through the roof. They're double. This was the statistics 20 years ago. accounting for 51% of all dog bite victims. Children between 5 and 9 are most likely to be bitten. Understand what that means. This age demographic is attacked most often, followed by children age 0 to 4 and 10 to 14. Injuries. Look at this. Child Protective Services. Injuries. The face is the most common body part bitten in children. Didn't I just say that? It probably didn't hit as hard coming from me. Does it hit harder coming from Google? How would you like to be stabbed in the face to death? How do you think that feels? And these people walk inside of homes and see the creatures that launch these types of lethal attacks on a very consistent basis. They attack more consistently than anything else, easily. The face is the most common body part, and preschoolers often suffer head and neck wounds. Listen to that. And dog culture accepts this. Dog lovers accept this. And they have created a scapegoat that when any time an attack like this goes down, they call it an accident and they say that the youngster provoked the dog. In each and every case, they argue that the youngster provoked the dog somehow. Even if the parents themselves say that it was unprovoked, other witnesses may say it was unprovoked. But then, do you know what the media outlet will do once they air the story? They will invite a so-called expert to chime in and give some input, and that expert is going to imply that the child provoked the dog. Around 26% of youngsters bitten by dogs require emergency treatment at a hospital. Again, that is more than any other age demographic. People who are older, a much lower percentage of them require emergency treatment. That means they are even more vulnerable to dog attacks. Dog attacks are even more of a threat with these additional statistics. More than 10,000 are admitted every year. They're talking about reconstructive surgeries where you need to stay there a few days. But understand, these are statistics from decades ago. It's more like 20 to 30,000 right now. The average length of hospital stay is 2.5 days. And again, it's usually a bully breed. So how on earth do bully breed advocates live? How do they live and get support? My channels live in proof that people today are not receptive to truth and facts. They're receptive to their imagination, whatever makes them feel good thoughts. This is an emotional era. And people who deal with facts and truth are not supported. The fact that I deal with facts, I should have way more subscribers. I should have way more listeners. All of us should. But because we're dealing with real facts, it falls on deaf ears. Fatalities. In 2022, children aged 1 to 4 made up 30% of fatalities. And that is a very small, very tight age range. Age 1 to 4 make up 30%. Child Protective Services, what are you doing? You ain't protecting nobody. Actually, Child Protective Services are actually promoting and supporting these attacks. Oh, yes, you are, because it's your job to make sure they don't happen, and you're failing, which means blood's on your hand. Another fact that's going to fall on deaf ears. But you just watch. Eventually, these facts are going to come out of the mouth of a socially accepted person in society, and then you're going to take heed. Then you're going to deal with it like it's serious. But as long as it's truth coming from me and other hole-in-the-wall content creators, y'all have the luxury of ignoring it and not acting on it. That is crazy. Victims 17 and under account for almost 60% of fatalities. And look at what else they said. Fatal dog attacks often result from bites to the head or neck, which are particularly vulnerable areas for children due to a pit bull's height, weight, and broad mouth. Notice how they pinpointed pit bulls. Notice how they singled out pit bulls. But yet, bully breed advocates and bully breeds themselves are not any more regulated. There are no regulations on owning these things. And they don't care whether or not you got kids in the home. Even though these things, children are their favorite attack victims. Aside from other small animals, it's children. Most definitely. When they see youngsters, they get a burning desire to attack them. Again, they offer classes. Some of these behaviors offer classes to try to train their desire to attack youngsters out of them. I've shared them here more than once. I've shared the videos. So it's such a fact that it has even been confirmed by the dog trainers themselves that they have a natural instinct to want to attack youngsters. So Child Protective Services is a joke. And that is no surprise. That's no surprise at all.
CTM in Focus is the original reporting you'll see only on CBS This Morning, exposing new information on issues that impact all of us. Today, we are focusing.
That's not what I want. I want to show y'all something else. I want y'all to listen to this. Okay, of course I can't find it now. Okay, we'll skip that. Do your own research. Use your own brain. I'm almost tired of driving these points home. Tired of beating a dead horse. Also, when you do a search as to why dogs attack youngsters, the first result you get is from VCA Animal Hospitals. I first dealt with this article, I think 3 years ago. And even to this day, this is the most vile article available. It's between this and the one written by Lana Reisner. Boy, they paint youngsters as villains and criminals. Here, I'll share a link. I'm not going to go over it now. I went over this several times. Take a look for yourself. Do your own research. They're convinced that every single attack on a young person, it is because the young person provoked the dog. Look at this. Look at this old information. 800,000 people require medical attention. That was 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. They were sharing the same information. And between 20 years ago and now, the only thing they've been telling us is how attacks are increasing by the year. Really can't make this up. Yeah. See, this is not as bad as the one by Ilana Reisner, to be honest. Let me see if I can pull her name up, actually. Dog attack. She is the worst. I think this is the article. She is the absolute worst. I made 2 different videos calling this woman out personally. Personally. Whenever they deal with dog attacks on young people, even the professionals are vile. They are evil. Because all they do is blame the victim. That's all they do. Whenever you do your own research, type in why they attack youngsters. Each and every behaviorist, trainer, veterinarian blames the action of the young victim. But when you look at the film, each and every video shows unprovoked attacks. When you look at the reports that are written, all of them, 100% of them, describe or verbalizes that it was unprovoked. Every single one. When you hear from cops that had to shoot dogs, in every single case, the cop says the dog just came at me unprovoked. When postal workers are attacked, in every case, the worker says it was unprovoked. Every attack, period. So how is it even possible for the young demographic to always provoke them, knowing that dogs have a burning desire to attack them on sight? I know a lot of you nutters thinking to yourself that dogs only want to attack youngsters because of the youngsters' behavior. No. I'm telling you that burning desire happens on sight. That's why they run from out of nowhere, from across the street and down the block, and just launch an attack. It's got nothing to do with their behavior. It has to do with their size. Dogs are bullies, and they love to attack small targets, smaller than themselves. Another reason why it's open season to hate them. You're not going to give us no moral lectures over here. Shout out to everyone able to join me. And I hope you can join me on the next as we continue with this crusade.